Hello you guys, welcome back. This is Sheets, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make the best cheese potatoes ever. Okay you guys, make sure to like and subscribe. I put out new videos every Wednesday. I gotta do all the things, but I have gotten a few requests, one, to do more cooking because if you guys don't know, I love cooking. I love food, I love cooking. And the only reason why I really haven't made this a cooking channel is because it's kind of my hobby and I just like to, you know, it's my like stress-free time. But you guys are lucky because this time I'm bringing you along. So, before we get started, I kind of want to show you all the ingredients we're working with and then we'll get started. This is super easy. It is a 5-ingredient cheese potato and not counting salt and pepper, so make it 7 if you want to do that. So yeah, very basic, very easy. So let me show you the ingredients. Okay, so I have the ingredients laid out here all nice and neat. First things first, it is 1 bag of shredded hash browns, but I could only find the family pack. So this is a very large bag. We're not going to be using all these. But Mr. Dell's is my favorite. It is just potatoes. So try to find a hash brown that is just potatoes, no other added stuff. And then we've got cheddar cheese, we've got butter, and then we've got, okay, I don't know where my video had to cut off there, but we also have Velveeta, half and half. And then I'm actually going to be using foil containers today because I'm making some of this to freeze and store. So, and they're just little good food items to bring to places. So that's what I'm doing. So these are the ingredients. I'm now gonna prep them. Okay, so you just saw all my ingredients. So next thing we need to do, well, the first thing, grab all the ingredients and make sure you have your recipe. This is my recipe book. But the next thing we need to do is mise en place. And that is basically, it's put in place, I think is the French translation. But basically you wanna measure out all your ingredients and just have them sitting out. And then when you're cooking, you can go along and you can just add it all in and it makes the cooking process so much easier. If you are a new cook or starting to cook or learning to cook, I highly recommend this. There is nothing worse than getting halfway through the recipe and realizing you're out of sugar or you're out of pepper or whatever, you know, like it's really bad. And it can ruin your meal, honestly, if you have to stop and go to the store or if you straight up don't have an ingredient. So you do not want that. So we're first gonna mise en place our ingredients. So the very first one I'll do is half and half. And this one is actually, we need 1 pint of it and it is already in a pint form, but I'm going to just open it up, get it ready to go, take the lid off. We'll see if I'm strong today. Yes, I am. So that one is good to go. I'll put the lid back on. The next thing is 1 stick of butter. It can be unsalted or unsalted, it really doesn't matter. And I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. Unless you are baking like straight up croissants or some really crazy pastry, most of the time salted or unsalted really doesn't matter in a recipe. It just might, you might have to adjust the salt later on, but I'm gonna be honest, I honestly, most of the time use salted. I have unsalted here though right now. Sometimes if you're unsure to do unsalted and then you can always add more salt. I've never had an issue though, so like don't stress out about it, it's fine. So we got that ready to go. Next up we have our Velveeta and we need 2/3 of a cup. So I got the Velveeta fresh packs, which you guys are gonna have to do a little math here. So 2/3 of a cup is how many ounces? Okay, well first off, there's 20 ounces in this whole thing and it's divided by 5. So we know each one is 4. And there's 8 ounces in a cup and it's 2/3. So I'm gonna do about 1.5 of these. Again, these are cheese potatoes. They're not like a croissant from France. Like it can be fine. You can adjust it a little bit. So we're gonna use 1 and then 1/2 of these. So I am going to, I'm gonna cut that up when I actually add it. So again, you don't have to like mise en place everything exactly, but you just wanna really make sure you have everything and it's ready to go. So I will need a knife. I'm just using a butter knife, it's Velveeta. So we got that. Okay, the next thing is we need 1 cup of cheddar cheese, shredded. You can shred it yourself or you can buy it pre-shredded. I'm gonna add a cup. And again, not exact. If you have 3/4 of a cup, you're gonna be fine. And it depends on how cheesy you like it. Okay, so we have our cup here. And so the only other ingredient is the hash browns. And like I said, it is typically 1 normal size of hash browns, but I have this family size. So I am going to just, it normally makes 2 or like 1 large pan. So I'm gonna make 2 of these. So I'm just gonna kind of fill these up as best as I think. And that's just gonna be how we go. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at like teaching you guys if you don't know because I have no measurements for these hash browns. But it's okay, you guys will get the vibe, you'll get the feel. So I'm just gonna set these right back here on my stove. Hope you guys can see me and hear me. We're new at this cooking thing, but we're gonna get better. Let me know when I need to do better. Okay, open these up. Pouring them out. Okay, so here are the two just straight up pans of hash brown. You don't need to put butter in them first or anything. Literally just like this, frozen, good to go. I kind of fill these up about halfway. And again, think about how you like your cheesy potatoes. If you like a little more cheese substance versus potatoes, maybe you would add even less potato. You know what I mean? This is really customizable and you're not gonna mess it up. So I trust you. So here we go, we have these two ready. I'm just gonna sit these right back there. Okay, so we have everything ready. Now we need to start like the cheese mixture. So it starts over, you're gonna cook over low heat, the cheeses, the butter, and the half and half. So, I've got my pot here, and I use All-Clad, best pans ever, stainless steel. So I put it on low heat, and I'm gonna go ahead and add, it says to kind of add it all at once, but I like to kind of get it going a little bit, add in the butter. You know, I like to kind of let the butter get to going. So we've got that in there, and then I'm gonna also add the half and half. Okay, so that is just going to heat and melt for a little bit, and once the butter's kind of melted, I will then add in the cheese, which let's cut this cheese real fast here so we have the amount we need. 6 ounces would be 3/4, so it's a little under that, so it's a little less than half. Let's add this on top of that. Okay, so I'm gonna let that melt and then I'll be back with you guys in a moment. Okay, so the butter and half has started to get a little warmed up, a little melted, and I pull out my whisk because you're gonna wanna kind of mix it together. And the reason I do the butter and half and half first is because I feel like as soon as I add in the cheese, a little bit of browning can happen on the bottom, which is fine. You just definitely don't want it to get burnt. So that's why you gotta wanna stir every now and then. It's not like a constant stir, but every now and then. So now that that's kind of warmed up, I'm going to add all my cheese. So the cup of Velveeta, or the cup of shredded cheddar, and the 2/3 cup of Velveeta. And then I'm just gonna keep stirring. And then as soon as that's done, I'll show you guys what it should look like. It's not gonna look anything exciting, so don't get too excited, but I'll show you what it looks like and I'll show you what we do next. So stay tuned. Okay, you guys, so I think it's almost done. So I'm actually just gonna pull it over here and show you. Hopefully you guys can see it. Do you see how it's kind of a light yellow color? So that's what you want it to be. Now that it's done, we are going to pour it into our pans equally. So I'm gonna do that now. I've been using a whisk up until this point, but now I sometimes get a spatula if there's stuff on the bottom. So I have my spatula, and we're just gonna come over here and pour half and half. Okay, and what I was saying earlier was, sometimes when you're pouring it out, if you didn't whisk it enough, or maybe it just didn't all get melted, you might have chunks of like Velveeta come out. That's really fine. It's gonna melt and it'll be fine. So don't fret. But this is what it should look like when you're done. I probably could add a little bit more potatoes to this if I wanted to. So maybe now's a good time to do that if you maybe didn't get it right. Seems to be a lot of liquid there in the middle. So I might add a little bit more. See? You live and you learn. So yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit more later. But I did want to show you one thing you could finish it off if you, this is optional and this isn't listed on the recipe, but I like to add a little bit of pepper, and you could taste the cheese sauce before you put it on. If you think it needs a little more salt, feel free to add a little more salt. I think with the Velveeta, the salt level should be good, but personal preference. So I'm gonna get my pepper, and I kind of like a lot of pepper. I don't know, it just adds another level. And you can obviously add more when you're eating them after you've cooked them. So like I said, I'm actually not cooking these right now. I'm gonna put them in the freezer. They are excellent freezer meals. But if you were to cook them right now, you would bake for 365 for 1 hour. So if you are putting them in the freezer and then baking them later after they're frozen, you might need to add a couple minutes to that, maybe 20 minutes, but you honestly might also not. It kind of just depends. And again, there's no like raw meat in here or anything, so it should all be good, but you'll know when it's done. But I would just start at that 365 for an hour, and then you can adjust it. You could totally take these out and thaw them in the fridge for a day prior if you wanted to, but you know the drill. If you've done freezer stuff, you know the drill. So here they are, yummy, yummy. I would say these serve about 8, so I would say it would be 4 each. Would be a pretty generous serving, maybe more, maybe less, depending on who you have coming over. But again, great little side dish for any of your meals in the winter or summer, with hamburger, brisket, barbecue, literally whatever. Okay, sorry to interrupt. I did want to say, I just put the lid on these, and now I'm going to write what they are, the date I made it, and if you're giving it to someone, write the instructions for how to cook it. So I'm gonna do that right now. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna get even better at these cooking videos. Maybe I need an overhead camera. That's what I really need, or like an overhead setup. Maybe in the future. Like and subscribe and I'll get an overhead cam, right? Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, let me know, and I will leave the ingredients and recipe below in the description. Thank you, bye.